The Galactic Empire had never been refused. Stretching across half the known galaxy, its influence was absolute, its fleets unmatched, its rule unquestioned. For over 10,000 years, every newly discovered species had either bent the knee or been turned to ash. So when their deep space probes intercepted rapidly accelerating tech signals from a blue planet in a backwater system, humans, they reacted the same way they always did, with a demand for immediate surrender. The flagship of the Empire's 73rd Subjugation Armada, Van, a crescent-shaped dreadnought spanning 12 kilometers, emerged from hyperspace just beyond the moon. Its arrival disrupted satellite systems and caused momentary blackouts across Earth. Within minutes, a planetary broadcast began. An ultimatum delivered in a dozen languages, synthesized by Imperial AI translators. This message is for the dominant governing body of the species known as humans. You will surrender all autonomous control to the Galactic Empire. Refusal will result in orbital bombardment, followed by resource reclamation and species restructuring. You have 72 Earth hours to comply. The message was cold, clinical, and delivered with imperial confidence. They expected fear, panic, desperate messages of compliance. That's what usually happened. They were half right. Earth's governments were thrown into chaos. Politicians shouted over each other in emergency sessions. Civilian populations around. The world reacted with dread and disbelief. News anchors speculated whether this was a hoax or the beginning of humanity's end. Protests erupted. Survivalists went underground. Global stock markets collapsed. But in military bunkers buried deep beneath the Earth's surface, there was no panic, only precision. The United Terran Alliance, UTA, Earth's unified defense body, had anticipated this day. For the past 2 decades they had been preparing, not just for aliens but for domination. Classified signals intelligence had detected strange gravitational disturbances years prior. Strange readings from the edge of the Oort cloud, shadows that didn't belong. The Empire's mistake wasn't finding Earth too soon. It was assuming Earth hadn't seen them coming. General Sophia Maddox, Supreme Commander of the UTA Strategic Command, convened her top military officers. From orbital defense to deep space operations, every commander reported readiness. Phase 1 of the Phantom Protocol was already active. Civilian space stations were being quietly evacuated. Orbital shipyards initiated blackout procedures. And, in the asteroid belt, long dormant hangars cracked open, revealing matte black dreadnoughts never disclosed to the public. Earth's fleet didn't parade. It didn't shine in the sun. It lurked in cold shadows, cloaked in radar-absorbing alloys and advanced quantum displacement fields. Its weapons weren't for show. They were for war. Even as humanity's leaders drafted a formal diplomatic reply, to stall for time, Earth's true response was already in motion. In classified message bursts relayed via entangled comms, strike fleets received their orders. Authorization, Code Black, execute counter-initiation. Target, Imperial Advance Fleet. Objective, cripple and isolate. Do not respond to hails. There would be no surrender. No negotiations. In 72 hours, the Empire expected submission. What they would get instead was fire, delivered by human hands forged in a death world's crucible, riding warships born in secret and baptized in silence. Earth didn't kneel, hunted, and the Empire was about to find out what hunted them. The Empire's fleet hovered in the vacuum of space, its ships forming an impenetrable wall of strength. The Van led the formation, a leviathan that dwarfed anything humanity had built. Lord Kael'zan, the Empire's admiral, surveyed Earth's unremarkable planet from his command center, satisfied with the absolute superiority he felt. After all, humanity was a new species, one they had anticipated would cower before the might of galactic authority. But Earth wasn't cowering. Instead, there was only silence. The Empire's intelligence predicted that the human race would crack under pressure. They expected frantic attempts at communication, cries of fear, offers of surrender. But when the time came, nothing happened. No panicked broadcasts, no attempts to negotiate. Earth remained eerily calm. Then, just as the Orycvon began to prepare for orbital bombardment, the first human strike was launched, unseen, unpredictable, and devastating. Without warning, a human warship, Talon's Fury, appeared from nowhere, a shadow among the stars. It was a stealth-class destroyer, equipped with the latest in cloaking technology and quantum disruptors. The Empire's sensors failed to register it until it was almost too late. A single shot from its quantum railgun pierced the hull of an Imperial cruiser, turning it into a rapidly expanding cloud of debris. The Talon's Fury vanished into the darkness just as quickly as it had emerged. The Empire's fleet reeled from the attack, confused and disoriented. How could this be? Humans were supposed to be weak, an unorganized, primitive species incapable of such precision and cunning. But the Empire had grossly underestimated the preparedness of Earth's military. They were not a species that relied solely on brute force. They had learned to strike from the shadows, using the vastness of space to their advantage. Moments later, another human ship, Vanguard's Wrath, emerged from a nearby asteroid belt. This one wasn't stealthy. It was a war machine of terrifying proportions. Its weapons were designed to overwhelm, and that was exactly what it did. A series of coordinated rapid-fire plasma cannon bursts tore through the shield of an Imperial battlecruiser, causing the ship to stagger and fall into disarray. The Vanguard's Wrath didn't stop there. It released a swarm of drone fighters, each carrying explosive payloads, swarming the remaining Imperial vessels. Lord Kael'zan watched in disbelief as his fleet crumbled under the unexpected assault. His empire had faced countless species, some stronger, some smarter, but never had they encountered such a clever and relentless enemy. Humans weren't just reacting, they were anticipating, adapting, and attacking with ruthless precision. The Empire's advantage in sheer numbers and firepower seemed meaningless in the face of Earth's guerrilla tactics. The warships were unlike anything the Empire had seen before. Their stealth technology made them nearly invisible to Imperial tracking systems, and their weapons, ranging from quantum railguns to antimatter missiles, struck with devastating efficiency. The human ships didn't fight by conventional rules. There was no honor, no protocol, no fair battle. Earth's military was a hammer, and the Empire was their anvil. As the Orycvon and the remaining Imperial ships scrambled to regain control, humanity's message was made clear. There would be no negotiations, no surrender. Earth would not bend, it would fight back, and this was just the beginning. The loss of multiple warships and the catastrophic damage to Imperial command systems sent ripples through the Empire. Lord Kael'zan, reeling from the unexpected losses, knew his forces couldn't afford to suffer another blow. He immediately deployed reinforcements, a full battle group including the mighty supercarrier Vornix, accompanied by several dreadnoughts and heavy cruisers. With this new fleet, the Empire intended to crush Earth's resistance in one decisive strike. What Kael'zan failed to account for was the relentless ingenuity of humanity. While the Empire focused its attention on Earth's immediate response, the United Terran Alliance, UTA, was quietly preparing its trump card. For years, Earth's military engineers had worked in secrecy to develop the Dauntless, a Titan-class warship so advanced, it was practically a myth to anyone outside the KAO. Highest military circles, powered by experimental exotic matter drives and armed with cutting-edge weaponry, the Dauntless was the culmination of every human innovation in warfare, and it was about to make its debut. As the Vornix and its battle group entered Earth's orbit, expecting to bombard the surface into submission, the Dauntless emerged from behind the moon, its massive form dwarfing anything the Empire had ever seen. The flagship of Earth's fleet wasn't just another warship, it was a statement. Its hull was a mix of advanced alloys and energy-dispersing fields, designed to withstand direct hits from the Empire's heaviest weapons. Its weapons systems, including quantum torpedoes and electromagnetic pulse, EMP emitters, were calibrated to disrupt even the most advanced enemy shields. The Empire's flagship, the Vornix, responded first. A volley of laser beams and plasma blasts shot toward the Dauntless, but they glanced off its shields with barely a ripple. The Empire's crews watched in horror as the Dauntless fired back, unleashing a barrage of antimatter projectiles that obliterated the nearest Imperial dreadnought in a single strike. The explosion lit up the surrounding space, sending shockwaves through the battle group. In an instant, the Empire's forces were thrown into disarray. The Dauntless wasn't alone. From deep space, human warships, each armed with advanced cloaking, systems and devastating firepower, began appearing in waves, coming from hidden stations in asteroid fields and outer planets. They attacked from multiple directions, forcing the Empire to divide its attention and resources. Earth's warships struck from angles the Empire never anticipated, using their knowledge of terrain and space anomalies to gain the upper hand. To make matters worse, human operatives trained in stealth and sabotage infiltrated Imperial command centers located on distant space stations. Using genetic enhancements and advanced espionage techniques, these operatives sabotaged Imperial fleet coordination, causing confusion and delay across the Empire's ranks. The Empire's once unbeatable logistical superiority began to falter. The Empire responded with desperation. The Vornix and its reinforcements began launching counterstrikes with even more ferocity, but human warships adapted. They moved in unpredictable patterns, always staying one step ahead. It became clear to Kelzan, humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were playing a game the Empire didn't understand, using tactics the Empire had never seen before. The humans' willingness to adapt, their cold pragmatism, and their ability to use whatever resources they had available made them a dangerous foe. At the same time, Earth's public broadcast networks released footage of the Dauntless and other human warships in action, displaying their power to the galaxy. The message was clear. Earth was not to be underestimated, and in the distance a new fear began to spread across the Empire's ranks. Not just the loss of ships, but the dawning realization that humanity had begun to rewrite the rules of war. Devastating losses in the wake of Earth's unexpected resistance forced the Galactic Empire into a brutal recalibration. Lord Kelzan and his commanders had underestimated the humans. Their immediate response was uncoordinated, driven by shock and rage. But after weeks of constant fighting, as human warships continued to wreak havoc across Imperial fleets, the Empire realized they could not win this war. The decisive moment came when a transmission from the Imperial High Command reached Kelzan. It was simple, cold, and final. Cease all hostilities. Begin ceasefire negotiations with Earth immediately. The Empire had faced defeat before, but never like this. They had made a critical mistake. They believed Earth's silence in the face of their ultimatum meant weakness. Now they knew better. Humanity had turned their weaponry and ingenuity against the Empire with an efficiency that was both terrifying and effective. Earth wasn't begging for mercy. They were dictating the terms. But even as the Empire called for ceasefire talks, Earth's leaders, led by General Sophia Maddox, had already made their decision. A ceasefire would not be enough. The message had to be clearer than just survival. It had to be permanent. The Empire had to understand that humanity would never be subjugated. Negotiation began, but Earth's terms were non-negotiable. The Empire was to withdraw completely from human space, dismantle their military installations near Earth, and acknowledge humanity's right to autonomy in the galaxy. Furthermore, Earth's representatives, military and political, would sit at the table with the other alien species the Empire had oppressed for centuries. There would be no diplomatic formalities, no alliances, and no grand treaties. The Empire had lost the right to rule by force. Humanity's message was simple. We don't kneel. As talks began, the Dauntless and the rest of the UTA fleet continued their campaign, this time not to destroy but to liberate. Earth's forces, alongside liberated alien colonies and resistance movements, surged into Imperial-controlled territories. Human warships and their allies freed worlds that had long suffered under the Empire's tyranny, igniting uprisings in systems once thought loyal to the regime. The Vornix, the Empire's proudest flagship, retreated under the cover of its remaining warships, and Kelzan, now a broken figure, returned to his superiors, humiliated by his failure. As the Imperial fleet began to collapse, its once feared warlords fled into the unknown, scattering like broken toys in the face of an unstoppable force. The final blow came not through a spectacular battle but through sheer unyielding resolve. Earth's fleets, reinforced with alien allies from liberated worlds, moved systematically to wipe out the Empire's military presence in the region. No longer was this a fight for survival. It was a mission to ensure the Empire's reign would never return. As the last Imperial strongholds fell and the Orakvan was finally captured in an ambush, the Galactic Empire's control over the human sector was gone for good. Humanity, once the newcomers on the galactic stage, now stood as a symbol of defiance, a beacon of freedom in a galaxy once ruled by fear. The Empire's former subjects now turned their eyes toward Earth. No longer the oppressed, they sought the Terran Defense Pact, eager to join a new order where they could live freely without the weight of imperial subjugation. The Empire's fall was swift, but the revolution sparked by humanity was unstoppable. As Earth's flag was raised not just above their homeworld, but across liberated worlds, the message rang clear throughout the galaxy. Humanity had drawn its line in the stars, and no one would cross it again.